All right, I'm gonna send you the request as I wait for more people to come in. Are you ready, Lakisha? Hi.
Hey, it's
How
the
are you?
it's not letting me be great today.
Oh,
Okay.
oh no. What, your Wi-Fi?
No, I was in here, but I guess you couldn't see. You couldn't see me, so I had to go out, come back in, go out, come back in.
Yeah.
Finally
Yeah.
up again. So apologies for the tardiness.
No. No, no, no. Yeah, it's like nature of the game to have technical difficulties with stuff like this. So
Man,
you're not the first one that like that happened to. So how's your Sunday so far?
it has been great. It has been a great Sunday. How about you?
Good, 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 good. Yeah, I'm about to, well, after this, I'm gonna make me some baked ziti, so I'm really excited about that. But
Oh, that's good.
usually I just like sleep on Sundays. Yeah, yeah, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to cook later. Um, yeah, but hello for everyone that's here and that's joining. So this is Lakisha, right? Did I say your name right, first of all?
Yes,
Okay.
you did.
Yeah, you're a mental health advocate, right? And
Yes.
mental health influencer.
Yes.
So this is like the perfect pairing, right?
Right.
I have a brand, ZenLuxCo, by the way, I'm CEO and founder of, and we promote women prioritizing their mental wellness, their self-care, their well-being. So this is literally you're the perfect guest to have on the series.
Thank
So tell the audience about yourself.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I love your brand. It's amazing. I love what it does, what it symbolizes for both men and women. So thank you for even having a platform for that. For those who don't know me, my name is Lakisha Mosley. I am a mental health advocate, also someone who struggles with a mental illness. By trade, I have an event planning company. I've been in business 12 years. And now I've kind of transitioned more over to just curating mental health and wellness experiences for women in leadership and women in business.
Love that. Love that. Wow, so I love that how you in the field that you're in, you also can provide expertise because you're dealing with it. So I kind of love it's like an extra layer of like expertise or whatever,
Yeah.
since you know how to help those that's in a similar situation.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you based in what state?
So I'm in Texas. I'm in Houston,
Texas.
Texas. Yes.
Okay. I'm in New York. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have. I love it. I need to come back.
Yeah. It's best city, best city. So how I like to, well, right after that, I like to also sort of have a like what do you call it? An icebreaker, and you're supposed to tell two truths and one lie.
Okay.
So, and the audience and me are supposed to guess which one is the lie. So go ahead and tell your two truths and one lie.
That is funny. Okay. Um, let's see. I have dual degrees. Um, I have no children, and I don't like animals.
Oh, don't like animals has to be the lie. I mean,
No,
oh.
that is the truth.
Oh, that's the truth. Wow. Oh man. Well, I only like to guess once. So what's the lie then? Yeah, that's
I don't have children. I do have children.
oh, you do have children. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. See, yours is kind of probably simple to other people, but I always get them wrong whenever I ask that to someone. So,
Like people know my friend Lila's in the audience, so she laughed because she know.
oh, that's your friend. Hi, Lila. Hello. So yeah, so she knew already the answer.
Right.
Oh, you have grandchildren too.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow, you look very young. Yeah, you don't look like a grandma.
Yeah,
I swear, grandmas nowadays be in their like 40s, 30s. It's like,
yes. I'm 40s.
yeah, you're a very young grandma. I love that for you.
Thank you.
I love that for you. All right, so we are now going to get into the Q&A, and I like when the guests don't want to know beforehand the questions, because
Yeah,
then it's really like they didn't not cheat, but they really get to think of the answer like right on the spot. So it's like the truth.
right.
Black don't crack for sure. No, for sure. That really, I'm shocked that you're a grandma. Um, so let's get into the first question. How do you find time to hit pause on life and tend to yourself?
Oh, I love this question. I really, really love this question, actually. I'll tell you one thing, intentionality is key. If you don't plan or intend to do something, it more than likely ain't gonna get
At
done. So for
all.
me, intentionally plan for these times where I unplug, these times where I just have to hit pause. I will tell you, God had me in a pause state pretty much all of last year. You can
Right.
ask anybody that know me. Anything I tried to launch, anything I tried to do, God would not let it go through because He had me in this kind of incubation pause stage. And from that, I kind of learned that I don't rest enough, that I don't take care of myself. Here I am advocating for other people, and I'm not even practicing or doing half of the things for myself.
Right.
And so, toward the end of last year, I had a series of deaths. I lost 4 family members in 5 months. When I say you have to pause, like life just kicks you in your gut and you just got to sit down somewhere. So that's how it was for me. And so I came into 2024 being a little bit more intentional about that pause. That pause really gives us time to assess,
Oh,
what
for sure.
we're doing. Does it make sense? Is it right? Is it timely? So I will say, short answer, intentionality, just intending, planning to do that very thing.
Right. Because a lot of people are living life on like a hamster wheel, and it's very unhealthy. So you have to
Yeah,
literally be intentional with, right, like setting aside time. Like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything. Look at emails, worry about this. Like, I'm just gonna sit in my moment and just enjoy what I have going on.
right,
Uh, yeah, because life is hard. Even if like you're privileged and you're blessed and things like that, life
right.
still throws curveballs at you that are unexpected, came out of nowhere, and you have to like deal with the
That's
punches
true.
and you know,
That's very true. Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So intentionality, that's like for you how you like do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely have to plan it. I mean, busy. I do work a 9 to 5, and then I also have my business. So,
Wow.
oh, you're busy. And I won't say, I will say I have work. I
Yeah.
have work, but I am intentional about that time. So sometimes Fridays could be that day that I just unplug. I'm not doing anything. It could be a Thursday evening. So being intentional, like making sure it's on your calendar, just like you plan everything else.
Right.
You have to plan times to pause.
I agree. Great answer. Great answer. Now, second question, what does wellness mean to you?
Ooh, I love that one too. So for me, wellness is holistic. It's wholeness. It's not just being healthy, like some people say, oh, well, I went to the doctor and he says I'm healthy as a horse. Well, internal, health is great. But I think when I think of wellness, I think wholeness. I think I'm sound in my mind. I'm
Mhm.
sound body. I'm sound soul wise. Relationships, friendships, those things, that is a part of wellness to me. So I just feel like it's a wholeness, just holistically being in a good space.
Right.
You know. Yes.
In all forms. Right.
Yes. Yes.
I agree. Not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and even financial wellness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, like wellness retreats. It's not just like meditating.
Right.
It's what you put in your body, what you feed yourself mentally, what you're looking at, like what you take in,
Exactly.
you know.
That's so true. I love love that I am, without always saying it, I am Christian and biblical based. And the
Mm,
word tells me that I have to make sure, like you just said, what I'm taking in is, good. We do wellness retreats, but where are the financial pieces to it? We're
right.
not talking about finances, because, boo, if your bank account ain't right, you ain't well.
Right. That's
You're
true.
not well. Let's
At
just be
all.
real. You're not well. So I love when I get to talk to people like you about wellness, who understands that wellness is not just about getting a good report from the doctor. It's having a financial advisor that say, girl, your money good, it's growing. Also
Right.
getting that good thing from your doctor, having that time with your therapist, but also having these relationships where reciprocity, you know, uh, and work and commitment are a part of it. Wellness is wholeness. Because I'm telling you, if anything is out of sync, you ain't well. I can remember being broke.
Y-
I,
Yeah. I think we all have that time
yeah,
period. Yeah.
I'm not well.
Yeah.
I'm not well. So
Right.
it's holistically.
Yeah, the whole thing, right? You said it perfectly. You said
Yeah,
it perfectly. Because if you're if you're thriving in one area, right, you go to the gym 5 days a week, but mentally you feel
right,
like you want to, I hate to be so
right.
blunt, like step in front of a bus, like no, you're not well. Your wellness balance is off. So it's truly because mental is a very big thing. Like people think, oh, apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, I eat my fruits and vegetables, but like, how you looking up here? Is it healthy up there? You know, like
Exactly.
people don't think beyond what the pretty word wellness is. They don't
Uh,
think beyond
yeah,
that. They don't think just one thing.
yeah.
They usually
All this,
think it's one thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the superficial things that, uh,
Yeah, superficial.
you
That's
know,
the word.
those things kind of don't matter. And for me, as someone who's a mental health advocate,
Yeah.
when you think about your mind and your brain, if you're brain dead, technically you're dead. Everything
Mm,
else could be working
right.
in your body, but if you're brain dead, you're dead. Your mind is the central system of your entire body. So, like
Yeah.
you just said, I can go to the gym, but if every day I feel like I want to leave this earth, that I want to commit suicide, I want to do certain things,
Trigger warning.
I'm not well.
Trigger warning. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and then this could be a whole 10-minute conversation, but like with social
Yes.
media, like what you're
Yes.
watching, what you're listening to, that's a whole nother aspect of it as far as
Yes.
what you're feeding yourself.
That's
So
true. Yeah, that's true.
hi everyone that's joining. Yeah, you're free, you know, you're free to answer the questions in the comments. I'm very interactive with whoever who comments and chats. I'm not one of those people or brands, like I enjoy it being interactive. Um, so now third question, what are your favorite ways to self-care?
Ooh. Unplugging is one of the favorite.
Okay.
Like, unplugging,
Oh, I love
my
that.
favorite.
Yeah,
Uh, Today, my good friend, and she also works with me in my company, Nicole, we were like, she said something about my phone, and I said, well, it's on Do Not Disturb. And she said, how? And I'm like, very good, very clearly, like it stays on Do Not Disturb.
right.
Self-care is whatever things take care of me, whatever makes me feel whole, or that gets me to that place where I balance out. And I use balance very loosely,
Mhm.
but it's where I balance out. So unplugging, I love to just watch Tubi. I don't care what y'all say about Tubi. I love Tubi.
I like
Okay.
Tubi too. Yeah.
I unplug and do that. Self-care is me sometimes spending time with my children. That's
That's one
therapeutic
too.
for me. I am a about to be 48-year-old mother
Right.
whose children still enjoy spending time with her. That's not common.
It's
I
not.
don't take that lightly. When you normally get my age and your kids are in their 20s, they ain't got time for you. So sometimes self-care for me is being able to hang out with my kids, hanging out with my friends, going to happy hour,
Oh,
fellowship
yeah.
church. You know, those are self-care things to me. Because let's be real, and I'm different. Going to the spa, getting a massage, getting your nails and feet done, that's good. But listen, when I'm getting my well, I don't get my nails done, but I get my feet done. When I get my feet done, I can't relax because I gotta make sure you don't cut me as you're doing my cuticles. And I gotta make sure when you scrub my feet, it ain't too hard or the water's too hot. Like, that's not self-care to me.
Yeah.
That's me having to be aware so that you don't hurt me.
Right.
So that I don't consider self-care. Getting a massage, sometimes it hurts if you ain't been in a while. Yeah, afterwards I feel good. But those things to me aren't what I consider self-care,
Yeah.
because there's still an awareness that I have to have when I'm getting those things done. Just sometimes just laying in bed, just listening to God, like listening, being able to tap into myself. That is self-care to me.
Right.
And I know a lot of people that are like, well, that's not self-care. That's for me. And I think self-care is personal.
I
I
was
think
gonna say very
I think
personal.
it's a personal thing you have to figure out for yourself.
Yeah, everyone has different meanings to it, you know. And I love that you brought that word up, superficial, with self-care. Like people think it's just right. And it's nothing wrong with like a spa
Right.
day or getting massage or facial, because I love those things. I love me a spa day. I just had one like 3 weeks ago, like a massage. But I think that's more like it makes you feel like your best self.
Right.
And I don't really necessarily think it's like the act of like getting your nails done or your feet done, but how you like feel afterwards, you know? Like,
Yeah.
wow, like my nails look great. Like I feel better about
Right.
myself, like treating myself to this. And yeah, like massages, again, for some people it is that, and for some people it's not. And sometimes they do be going hard, you know? So then it's like, wow, this is supposed to make me feel better, but actually it's kind of painful.
Right.
So for some people it's just like just
Exactly.
laying in bed, like watching Netflix, watching Tubi, like it's so different for everybody. So
Exactly. Yes. I love that you said that. Like, it's sometimes that after feeling
right,
for you, dopamine that you get from
dopamine.
getting those
That's another good word.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, and like spending like $6 in a coffee when you know you could have like made a cup at home, like treating yourself. Like that's when I think self-care, I think whatever I do to like treat myself and make me feel pretty or make me feel better, you know. Um, but yeah, it's so personal to everybody. For some people, it can be, I don't know, calling out of work. That's another
Yeah.
one, right? You still working a 9 to 5. As a professional, we all know working corporate is not for the faint of heart. It's very stressful. Then the work culture, all that. So sometimes it's using a PTO when you're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't have no vacation, nowhere to go,
Mhm.
but you're damn right I'm gonna use this PTO
Exactly.
because I don't want to go in on a Monday. Really? Yeah, because I used to do
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Like, I'm finna take this day, baby, because no. Yeah, I'm not doing
Right.
it.
No, I love your answers though. And shout out to Tubi though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix and HBO. Tubi has some of them are ratchet though. Some movies on Tubi be ratchet, but some of them they be good movies on Tubi.
Yeah, and I think that's the guilty pleasure part of it, because again, when you, like you say, corporate and entrepreneurship ain't for the faint of
At
heart, baby, not at all.
all.
Sometimes because you can't get ratchet, you need to watch something like that. You know what I'm saying? To
Oh,
kind of get your pleasure out.
I get it. Yep. Yeah, when you work in a certain environment, you have to, act a certain way to be professional. Sometimes you need that like to be fed like
Right.
ratchetness, whether it's reality TV or definitely Tubi. Tubi definitely feeds that. um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I love that. Hello, everyone that's joining. All right. Oh, so this is a good one too. How do you personally cope with stress?
Whew, that's a good one. I love these questions. So for
Mm,
me,
thank you.
because I recognize, number one, what the stress is.
Mm,
I think when you have, so I have high functioning depression, which,
really?
yes, which means I still function and I do everything that I'm supposed to do, but I still feel empty inside. I still feel down, but you
Mhm.
would never know it from the onset, because work fuels um the happy place for me. Like, work pulls me out of the pits of hell. It's what I
Mm,
call depression. It
mm,
pulls me out. So for me, as someone who functions, who has high functioning depression, I have to be very aware, like super aware, like think spidey senses of what's going on with me internally. So
wow.
when I feel stress, I have to confront what it is. I have to get in front of what it is. So is it work? Is it, family stuff? Is it me? Am I not planning intentionally for self-care? Uh,
Mm,
am I not taking care of myself? And so I think with that comes a level of awareness of what is causing me stress. Okay, and so if I know what's causing me stress, how do I handle it or eliminate it?
mm,
Because sometimes we're in places where we can't eliminate stress. It's just
yeah.
it's just not, cognizant. So then for me, it's like I go take a walk. I love walking. So let me go take a walk. Sometimes it's listening to praise and worship music. Sometimes it's listening to the rap ratchet stuff.
Oh,
Just
okay.
to be dance around and hop around the house and get rid of some of this energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's just prayer and meditation. Sometimes it's talking with a girlfriend
Yes.
that's going to hear and that won't pass judgment for one, but will just hear me and allow me to like get those feelings out. So I think you have to be very self-aware of what causes you the stress, number one, and then be able to figure out what things with that help you, either eliminate stress or it helps you just ease through it. Because some things, if I'm stressed about, going somewhere, because that will happen, social anxiety may pick up,
Yeah.
like, I
That's a
want to go
big
to this
thing.
party. Well, don't freaking go. I've eliminated that stress. I said the
Right.
sorry, I can't make. Not, I don't even say sorry. I just said I can't make it. I may tell you why I can't make it if I trust you with those feelings. Otherwise, I ain't coming. That's it. I have
Right.
eliminated stress. If it's in the business, then there are things I have to do. Right now, I'm in the middle of a huge launch for my mental health conference that's in May. It's
Oh,
stressful to get
congratulations.
this together. But
Okay.
what do I sometimes I have to delegate. Sometimes I have to say, you know what, close this laptop, put all that stuff away and go take a walk. Just
Right.
go take a walk. So yeah, just I think of knowing what causes the stress helps you eliminate or move through it
Right.
successfully.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, just from personal experience, when I feel like stressed out and have anxiety, and it's like, why am I feeling this way? Like you
Right.
don't really know why you're feeling stressful or uncomfortable about something. But what you said, like pinpointing what it is, that takes a lot of self-reflection. So that
Yes.
requires a lot of like digging deep and like
Right.
thinking mentally about like what's causing it, what's initiating it. And I
Right.
feel like in life you can't totally like eliminate stress.
Right.
Like as you said, that was a great example, right? Me living in New York, so many events, something always going on. Um, but when you have anxiety about something or stress about something, as you said, that example you said, yeah, that event, I'm not gonna really know anyone there. It's giving me anxiety. It's gonna stress me out thinking about going. Just don't go. You eliminate it right there.
Right.
But I feel like for life in general, like there's always something like coming like unexpected. So we have to learn how to not necessarily deal with stress, but like I guess cope with it, right? Like cope with
Yeah.
stress
That
because
word.
you really can't 100% eliminate stress in life, you know? So find
Exactly.
a way to like cope with it. I think that's a good way to go about it too.
Right. Oh, I love that word. I think that's the perfect word. There are so many things in life that we just can't get rid of,
At
and
all.
that makes stress. So how do you deal with it? You have to find a way to cope with it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it comes with a level of self-awareness. And I don't want to get on the soapbox, but that's what a lot of us are missing. We're
Oh,
not self-aware. We don't understand. Like we want to sit in the feelings and being high
yes. A lot of us do that, just sit
that
in it, and it's not good.
we just sit in it. So when you have high function depression, there's a level of accountability that you have to have. So there's a tribe of women who I am responsible to.
Mm,
And if they text and it's 2 days and they haven't heard from me, okay, now it's a phone call.
mm,
Like now there are things like it's my responsibility that if I'm in that dark place or if I feel like I'm slipping into crises, I have a responsibility to tell them what's going on. I have a whole mental health plan that they are aware of what to do if this happens. But we are not, and that's sometimes, like you just said, sitting with yourself and being quiet, just figuring out who in the heck you are and what your makeup is.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And journaling, I remember you said that too, right? Getting those feelings out, because talking to a friend, because it's really not good to like keep so many things in, like was it eternal monologue, like just thoughts everywhere. Sometimes good to just get it out, right? Like journaling, talking to a
Right,
friend,
right.
right? That's also dealing with stress. I hate the word dealing, coping with stress, another
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is also a good one. Are you vocal about your needs enough?
Whew. I think for the people in my tribe, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am now. I will say I am now. But I will throw in a disclaimer on that. We all go through stuff.
For
And
sure.
so me being vocal, I also have to be aware and read the room that I'm vocal to, because it's dump on people. And I use dump very lightly. So I am vocal in that, especially when it comes to the things that tend to maybe give me anxiety, may tend to stress me out, that may
Mm,
like cause me to feel away. I've learned to stop and say, you know what? I'm feeling a way about X. I'm not
mm,
sure how to eliminate that, or I'm not sure how we can fix that or make this workable, doable, but this is what I'm faced with. And so I am very, very vocal on that. For if I'm not, and I cause it to, like, if it begins to layer, I could go into mental health crises where I'm
mm.
like in the pits. So I can't allow those type of things to
You
happen.
can't.
I think so
Right.
low in depression that it's hard to dig yourself out. So
Mm,
apart from going there is to be vocal about what's happening with me. And I think like we just said, you have to find that good girlfriend, that even if it's a guy friend or whatever, to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and I need help with this, because that person will know how to bring you out of it. So very vocal about cognizant of who I'm being vocal to or
mm.
with, to make sure that have the capacity to handle what it is.
Right, for sure. You definitely have to trust who you're venting those feelings about, feelings toward, or telling those feelings to, I should say.
Right,
Um, yeah, but I feel like no one's answer is 100%, because none of us want to get judged for what we say or how we feel. We're all human beings. We all feel the same things one way or another.
right,
Um, but again, it's not good to, like, if someone did something that you're not keen of, or you saw something you didn't really like, or someone acted this way that you weren't fond of.
mm-hmm.
Um, uh, like you said, you have to trust that when you tell them, they're not gonna like tell someone else or feel some type of way. So you have to trust the person enough to vent those like feelings to them.
Right. I think it
And
comes with
needs.
a level of vulnerability and transparency. We
Yeah.
have to be who we are, no matter what setting that we're in. I do feel like the messaging has to change based off of the setting that you're in.
Mm,
You have to, like I said, read the room. If you do something to offend me, I don't think that's my place to do that in front of a whole bunch of other people.
mm.
But in the authenticity of our relationship, I should be able to find a space and time to be able to share that with
Wow.
you, if that's the case. Even
Yeah.
also, and I'm going through a mental health crisis. I literally just was in one this past week. This is
Oh,
how real this work is.
wow.
This work is triggering. Mental health work is triggering, and especially if you are a depressant or anything like that. And so for me, I have to have these tribal women who their capacity, it may not be huge, but if Lakisha says she's going into crises, they stop and they know what questions to ask me that get me to thinking. Like it's almost, think of it like a redirect. You know how sometimes
Right.
when you give the wrong URL and it'll redirect you somewhere else, those
Yeah.
questions redirect my mindset and my thought patterns to say, okay, you said it out loud, you're going into crises, but we going the other way. So now let's get to the bottom of what this is. So I think you have to have be 100% with the people that you can trust, and know that when that comes up, that there's space for no judgment, but there's no space for judgment, but there is space to say, this is Lakisha, she's in a raw moment, and I'm going to accept that for what it is, and then I'm going to help her, through that.
Right.
But it takes
Right.
work. It's a relationship. It takes work.
And more than anything, it takes trust too. Yeah, work, trust.
You said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
said it.
Oh wow, I love that. I love that. I've actually never heard anyone say that second part. Like um that yes, I'm vocal about my needs, but I have to make sure I trust who I'm telling these needs to.
Right.
So I love how you add that like second layer to like the answer. Because that's it, right?
Exactly.
It's it goes without saying, but people don't say that. So I love how you said that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this one is definitely related to your line of work. So, do you think convos about mental health are still taboo in recent years, or has progress been made?
It's absolutely taboo. But let me tell you what it has
Oh, you
become.
still think
It's,
taboo?
I still think
Like,
it's
what?
taboo. I think it's become very superficial. And I will
Okay.
say that because, and this is not to make light of anybody's struggle or whether they see a therapist or not. I think it's the end thing to say, I have a therapist. But are you doing the work? Because, honey, when I go see my therapist, if y'all ever have watched any of my social media, I'll be ready to fire him every session. Because he dig deep and
Oh no.
he makes me do the work.
Okay.
I think it is still very taboo. I think when it comes to women of color, specifically Black women, because of how we were raised in the church. I'm a PK. We didn't talk about
Mhm.
mental health. But
Oh,
looking back, my
Pentecostal.
grandma had mental health
Gotcha.
issues. My mom, my aunt, they all had, I feel like, some levels of mental health issues. We don't talk about it. We pray about it. That's what we're taught. So I think there is still a little bit of taboo in it in certain areas and sectors. But I am happy that we are having um the converse. I'm happy that we're having the conversations.
Hmm.
I just don't feel like some of the people having the conversations are for the greater good of the cause for it.
Oh,
This is not easy work to do. And if you're
yeah.
in it just to say you're in it, that you're now putting yourself in a space where you could potentially be hurting other people who trust you, people who lean into what you're saying. I'm very cognizant of how I talk about mental
I can
health. Number
tell.
one, someone who struggles with a mental illness, so it's triggering for me. But number two, if you're looking to me as a resource, I have to be very careful of what I'm saying to you, and I have to be very vulnerable too. As a Black woman in business, on both sides, as having a corporate job but also having a business, there's not a space where I can go and say, you know what, girl, I'm not feeling good today. That's what I'm trying to create with Mind Your Business.
Mm.
I want to create a space where we can go and talk about that. So yeah, it's still very taboo. I still get the looks if I say, yeah, I struggle with a mental illness. And I say it not to be trendy or not to make myself be any bigger. I say it because we don't say it enough. We sugarcoat around it.
Yeah.
I have a mental illness and it is high functioning depression. And then I go into explaining, like, because sometimes people are like, well, what is that? Like, I could be depressed right now. You never know it. I know it because I feel it deep down. But you never know it because there's a facade, there's a mask that's up that you may or may not see. But I just feel like like my friend Latoya just said, yeah, people have made it trendy, but people are not being honest with their therapist
Yeah.
either. We go into
Yep.
these sessions and we still up in here faking the funk. Like, be real. Some sessions, I'm literally crying for like 20 minutes. And he's like, okay,
Let it
when
out.
you ready, he's like, do your thing. And when you ready, okay, so now let's talk about what brought that on. So yeah, I wish it wasn't still taboo, to be honest with you, with the number of deaths by suicide, the number
Yeah.
of people who have come forward to, famous people, because sometimes that's what it takes, the celebrity to say something and then we'll attach to it. I
Right.
still feel like in some spaces it's just not welcomed. It's
Mm,
not well. It's not a welcome topic.
right. Right. Yeah. And to that comment, some people are making it trendy. I don't know if you remember that time period where it was like if you said you have anxiety, like you're cool or something. I felt like there
Yeah,
was this like weird space and like I don't know where everyone was like, "Oh, I have anxiety. I have social anxiety, 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 anxiety." Like
yeah,
that word was being like thrown everywhere.
right,
But
right,
right, and to the point of having a therapist, you're only hurting yourself if you're there to not really do a deep dive in on
right,
why you need therapy. And
right,
um, I I've never had therapy, but I feel like, especially as a woman of color, I feel like Black people are like um, we kind of are born with like innate trauma, just right from the history we've been dealt and all
right,
that. So I kind of feel almost all Black people need therapy, even though
right,
they might feel like they need it. But just being a Black person in America, I'm
right.
not gonna get into that, right? Because that's another like topic. But
Yeah, that's a whole nother one there. Yes,
yeah, but yeah, doing the real work and if you're in that space and you're working with people in the mental health space, not being in it to look cool or to say, yeah, you help people,
right,
but actually wanting to help people, if that makes
exactly. Yes, that makes perfect sense, and I'm glad that you said that because there are so many people out there, and I'm gonna just be real, who are not real about what it is that they're doing.
mm,
It's easy to jump on a bandwagon, but can you maintain something? And
mm,
if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, where you essentially could be hurting someone, that's not the cool thing to
at
do. We should not
all.
be doing those things. And I love your point about just Black people in general. Um, making sure that we're okay. When you think about mental health, and then this kind of goes a little bit into advocacy, where a lot of times we have to leave our neighborhoods and we have to go to our counterparts neighborhood in order to get good mental health treatment.
Mm,
There's
mm,
nothing in our communities that's either available or affordable for us to get help where we live. You
mm,
have to drive to a neighborhood of your counterparts that don't look like you, and you have to walk into a space where there's little to no
no,
people who look like you.
yeah.
You're going into this particular door, this particular window. Like, I think we don't understand how important, number one, it is for us to still get the help, but for our counterparts, how sometimes it's very difficult for us in a space where we're already not wanted and judged. We have to walk in and we have to receive assistance from them. And it's not to knock anybody. You choose who you want as a therapist. My therapist is a Black guy.
I was gonna say,
So,
if I ever do it, I would want the person to be of color.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have to be of color because you understand certain things that a white person just can't help me
Yeah.
with as far as therapy goes. I chose a male because I have a strong personality. And for me, I just felt like I've had women therapists before and we wind up being like girlfriendish. No,
No.
it's okay, but I need you to be able to tell me very strongly with
Yeah.
this strong Leo personality, what it is. And so it's important to me that we begin to do more advocacy work in our communities. It's
Mm.
important to me that we have people that look like us in our communities at something up the block, and I'm not having to drive to a place where people already don't want me and are going to judge me because of my color, but now you're going to judge me because of my color and because I'm going into this therapist's
Oh, for
office.
sure. Right. Oh, I love how you said that. Yeah. Yeah, and that translates to most almost um any industry we seek help in, like health, mental health. Sometimes it's best to get help from someone that looks like
Yeah,
you, or it's in your community because they understand the struggles that you know you talk about, and they relate to you more than uh someone that not of color, right? You
right. Right.
those things about you're venting those feelings to someone that's not of color. So,
That's
um,
true. I
yeah.
love that you said that. I will tell you. So I don't know if Dr. Kadisha is still in the audience, but she is a really good friend. She's been a speaker on many of my events. She
Oh,
is a hospital administrator who advocates for women of color or just people
wow.
of color in general. And a few days ago, she posted a video where she talked about being careful about us deliberately choosing us to like go to. We still have to advocate for ourselves because sometimes we don't like each other. So I want to be cautious when I say that to people, like, yeah, seek out, a black doctor or whatever. You still want to do the work.
Right.
What she said, don't blindly be like, oh, because they black, I don't still need to do the work. Yes, you do. And
You
if
do.
she said it, I believe it because I know the work she's doing out there to advocate
Mm.
for people. Think about a hospital administrator. They're supposed to be for the hospital, not for patient advocacy. She's doing
See.
the work for patient
Oh,
advocacy.
oh, wow, wow. Did you see her in the like
Yes,
in the chat?
she's doing. I don't know if she's still here or not,
Oh,
but she's definitely somebody that um on pretty much every event she's been on for me, and my events have been virtual for the past few years. She's talked about how to advocate for yourself when you go
mm,
into these spaces, whether it's black or white, how you have to advocate for yourself.
right. Yeah, if you're still in this chat, kudos to you, girl. I
Yes,
mean, yeah, so
she's
she
amazing.
really goes beyond her job then, if that's the case, and I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, what wow. This is the first time it's taken that turn with that question. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't feel it's no longer taboo. I think um there's more comfortability, if that's a word, with people saying they have like a mental illness or they see a therapist. I feel people are more open about it, but I still feel like, on the other hand, it is still taboo with, as you said, certain communities and demographics. Graphic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like yes and no. Like things are
Right.
improving, but not all the
Right.
way, you know?
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so this is our last question, but what is one piece of advice you would give to everyone watching?
I would say always check in with yourself. Self-awareness, and you'll hear me say that a lot, is so important. It's how we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
It is how we can take
Right.
care of others. Because if we are not aware of the things that trigger us, the things that make us happy, that make us sad, all of those things, it's kind of hard to navigate life and or navigate life with other people. So I would say, like um check in with yourself, making sure that you're doing that. And I also would say surround yourself with a community or a tribe of people that can, number one, hold you up,
Mm,
uplift you, but also hold you accountable
mm,
for your actions or the fact that you don't act on certain. I think that is key. And I would say lastly, just love. Love is the thing that's missing from everything. If we just love ourselves, love others, just follow. that whole guideline about love and what it can do. Love is healing. And I
Very.
think sometimes some of the reasons why we're in some of the spaces and feel certain ways because we're harboring unforgiveness and there's no love there. And so I
Mm,
think, I feel like love really can do healing things, but it's really the answer to a lot of the things that we have going on.
mm, right. Right. Checking in with yourself, that's a big one. That I feel like that was like the common thread
Yes.
with the conversation.
Yes. We have to do it. So it's so important. It's almost like, and I know people do this, but like operating something without reading the instructions or trying to put something together without reading the instructions. Like, yeah, you may put it together, but it takes you a lot longer.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
you
Right.
may have too many screws left over, too many pieces left over. It could be lopsided, it could be unstable. We got to check in with ourselves, and we need to do that. Should be a daily thing. That should be daily. We should be doing that in the morning and in the evenings. We should check in with ourselves in the morning, how we're doing, check our feelings, like we talked about.
Yeah.
You know, how do we cope with the things that we know will be stressful that day? Let's get in front of some of this stuff, instead of waiting. But then in the evening, when we decompress, how did you do that today? How did such and such make you feel? What was triggering? What can you do next time to avoid that situation or to manage that situation better? I think
Right.
just checking in is just super important.
Yeah. And I love your examples, by the way. Like you give good examples when you're explaining stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect way to end that. I mean, check in with yourself and um get before try to get before the issue and problem before it actually occurs. So like self-reflection and checking in with yourself. Yeah.
Right. Definitely.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so we did all the questions. Yeah, if anyone, I don't think I missed any comments in the chat, but I'm just gonna check really quickly. Um, yeah, but okay, so yeah, that was a great episode.
Yes.
You're episode number 29 actually. So and
Ooh.
you're the second one, the second episode this year, like in 2024. So that's exciting.
That is awesome. Congrats to you on that.
Oh
That's
no, thank you. And you said you have something coming up in May. It's like a virtual like conference.
It's actually in person this year. It's
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Yes, it's in person in Houston. So for the last 4 years, it has been um, virtual. And so for year 5, I was like, we outside. Let's go outside this year. So it will actually be in person. It is May 17th through the 19th here in Houston. And we're going to be talking about things that really, more conversations really around mental health and where it intersects with women leadership and women in business, because I think that's a segment that's not tapped into as often. We may go as a woman to therapy, but I am a woman who is a corporate figure, but I'm also a woman who is a CEO. How do I check in? How do I
Mm,
tap into how my mental health is affected by those two sectors of life? And so I feel like, especially after I had my breakdown in 2022, there wasn't a space where we talked about where mental health intersect with entrepreneurship or leadership.
yeah.
It's a heavy thing to carry if you are in corporate and or you own a business. Your mental
Mm,
health is not always there. And so I just really I've always had it kind of presentation style. This year
mm.
we're gonna do like TED Talk conversation style. We're going to just have real conversations about, what does suicide look like for us in the entrepreneur space. We just heard about Dr. Antoinette Bailey, who literally was, you know what I'm saying? What happened with her? We're gonna have those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about diet. We're gonna talk about friendships.
Mm.
You know,
That's
how how do you move about in friendships? Because reciprocity as well as commitment and investment. Go into real friendships. A lot of times when you're in corporate America, friendships, they ain't always the best ones. You know,
Right.
sometimes get connected to you about who you are and who you know. We want to talk
Mm,
about real, authentic relationships that affect our mental health. You
right.
know, of course, we go through with some self care. How, you know, how do we implement self care when I'm a busy CEO, or, you know, I'm a busy entrepreneur, or all those different things? We're going to really tap into some real conversations that I just feel like we're not having in the business space.
Mm. Wow, that sounds like a great, wow. Oh, I love how, yeah, I love how it's in person this year. So I'm sure that takes a lot of planning. And yeah, I mean, everyone knows building a business is hard, right? I'm a new
Right,
founder. Uh, this June will make 3 years. And right, laying that with being a black woman and a black person in America, it's always an extra layer or two when you're like a black person or a woman, you know?
right,
So, and for us,
right.
it's like both,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up some really great points. There's levels to this, and it's different layers. And especially for us who are women, black women founders, with, you know, the overruling of affirmative action and all of these programs within supplier diversity being attacked, we really have to be careful about how we take care of ourselves,
Yeah.
especially if we tune into those type of media propagandas. Those are real things. This whole thing with affirmative action was overturned, but it didn't just affect black people. It
Mm.
affects anybody who is considered a minority.
Yeah, it does.
To have those type of conversations of how does that affect your job if you are in that space? How does
Mm.
that affect you as a black businesswoman, where there were programs explicitly for you? Now they no longer are there, and now you're
Mm.
trying to figure out your cash flow. You're trying to figure out, like, we want to have real conversations
Yeah.
about real things that happen, because like we said, we wanted to no longer be taboo to talk about these things, and those things affect our mental health. I don't care what nobody say, it affects our mental health.
They do. Yeah, and not to really go off a tangent, but that doctor that I know the whole story. I forgot her name. You said it. How
Antoinette,
she,
Dr. Antoinette Bailey, yes.
yeah. Oh, Jesus. Her family needs to sue that university.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's worst. That is the absolute worst thing you could do is bully someone who expressed that they have a mental health
Right.
issue, and we know the end result of what happened with her. Sad, such a sad story,
Yes.
really.
Yes. It, yeah,
I hate.
it's scary. And that's why I say I think it's still a little tabooish,
Right.
because she was very vulnerable to a counterpart about
That's
how their behavior was affecting her.
yeah.
And they did nothing but bully her even more so. And
Mm.
that is why some of us, as you can see, she's a woman in leadership. She would be perfect for my
Yeah.
conference.
She
And
would.
what happened to
Oh,
her? And those are real. She's not the only one, which is why we're gonna have those conversations.
right.
She's not the only one that's dealing with that. And so I have a panel that's actually gonna talk about what that looks like. How do we move through the process of that bullying, and how to protect our mental health?
Mm.
You know, the steps you gotta take, you know, legally on paper, but also how do we move through that so that we don't get to that point, because in no way is she at fault for anything that happened. Please
That
don't hear me say that.
happened. Not have happened at
Heaviness.
all.
Yeah, it's a heaviness, and it really, to me, it just set a precedent of how we as black women still have to fight, even with the letters before and after our doggone names. We still fight.
It's really sad, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And I hate to say this, but knowing she was probably one of the few, right? Obviously, probably black woman, one of woman
yeah,
of color at her ranking at that
yes,
university, and she still chose to express that, shows how vulnerable and what a great like
right,
person and what a big heart she had.
right,
Because that's what I want to say. That's why it's also so taboo, because people fear getting judged and like
yes,
look different on
Yeah,
and talk about, like, you know, it's so it, for Black
that's true.
women and our demographic, mental health,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of brought us back a few notches in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah,
I should say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. You just said it, and I was trying to formulate it, but I couldn't think of it that way. That's it. It takes us back. It's like, look at the work that we've done to be able to be at these rankings,
Right?
to sit in C-suites among our counterparts, and then for them to disrespect and disavow us like that, as
Yeah.
if what we are saying doesn't even matter. And I don't know if they regret it or not. You know, that's a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
it would weigh very heavily on my heart and soul that somebody decided it was better that they no longer be here because of my antics.
Oh,
I
yes.
feel
That,
horrible.
mm, yeah. I can't even grasp that. Like,
Yes.
man, I see a lawsuit. I mean,
I do too. They need
terrible.
to. They need, yes.
Absolutely terrible. And and I'm sure you know with the term high functioning, depression, that's is it a new term? Is it a new condition, or it's always sort of like existed?
It's a fairly new term. It's not like a clinical diagnosis per se, like schizophrenia or bipolar,
Yeah.
but it used to be called persistent depressive disorder, or that's another form of it. So it's really a newer term because for us, like, you can't tell, but we can,
Yeah.
and the work fuels us to continue to, like, you almost think about the Energizer Bunny. Like, it just, you know how it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. For us, we go and go. We're smiling, we're laughing. We, hey girl, we all of this, and then we crash.
Mm.
And then you're looking at me like, well, you was just smiling yesterday. Yes, but I was heavily depressed. And today I can't fake it. Like,
Mm.
today, the work won't help. And so I'm in the pits of it. So it is a fairly new term, but it is one that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people can really relate to. I feel so down on the inside, but to you, I look very normal. To
Sure.
you, I look like I'm good, but I could be very down. Like, now I feel great, but I know when I was going into crises, I was at work smiling, girl. I was all at events and stuff last week, but
Oh,
I was in
wow.
the pits. I was
Oh.
in the pits. And being there, you have to be very self-aware of, okay, I know I'm here. I'm like on the line, so let me call one of my tribe girlfriends, and I'm here. I'm here. I need you to talk me back. It's almost like, think about going into a bubble. When you go into the bubble, you feel safe and you feel like nothing can touch you. But if you stick a needle to a bubble, it pops,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
It's a false sense of security that we go into when we kind of go into this pit. But it's safe. To us, it's safe there. It's quiet.
Mm.
Nobody knows. But it's very detrimental because you get too much in your head. You get too much. It's too much thinking, and all of those thoughts kind of pile on top, and then you find yourself in this space where you're like in quicksand, and you need somebody to pull you out.
Mm.
Like, you need to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's fairly new, but I think we're talking more about it because a lot more women are like, I may not have exactly that, but I can relate to that because I
Yeah.
feel those highs and lows.
Right. Right. Yeah, you've truly been so vulnerable this episode, and I really do appreciate it because I know it's not easy, and that shows again your character and who you are and just with that space and what you've dealt with. So thank you for that.
Thank Thank you for the platform to talk about this. I feel like even in those moments, if it could be triggering or bad for me, if I can save one person,
Mm.
I've done what I feel like God has called me to do.
Mm.
So I appreciate any platform where I'm able
Mm.
to,
Mm.
share and be vulnerable. I think the more we do this what you're doing is amazing. Please keep
Oh,
going with it.
oh,
What you're doing
thank you.
totally amazing. I think the more they see it, the less taboo it's going to become, and the more commonplace when they see, especially women of color, even our counterparts, our allies, talking to us about these things. I think the more people see it, the less it's going to be taboo, and the more people are going to come forward and say, yes, I'm struggling. Yes, I'm suffering. Yes, I need help.
Right. I agree. I agree. Man, what a great conversation.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Went over an
did.
hour too. What time is it now? My like ring light is covering the time, but let me
Oh, well,
oh
it's right here.
oh, that's right. Yeah. So wow, we went over time. Love that for us. Um, yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I will follow up with you in regards to like the episode, and it's going to be on YouTube. There's also going to be a clip on it on our social media, whole episode on YouTube. But again, thank you for joining and taking time out your Sunday. I really do appreciate it. Your vulnerability is very refreshing.
Thank you.
Um, and I definitely loved all your answers, and everyone that's watching and that also watches the playback on YouTube. I hope you took away some nugget, like what do they call it? Wisdom of nuggets? Wait,
Yeah,
nuggets
yeah,
of wisdom,
nuggets.
something.
Yeah.
Because really, you gave such good advice if for that people in any space that's dealing with life in general. So,
Thank
yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it now here. I hope you have a good
you
Sunday. I'll
too.
I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, I'll talk
Yeah,
to you soon.
thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye. Have a good night.